What's up, you guys? Anthony here, and in this video, I want to show you exactly how I use AI to write advertorial landing pages that have allowed me in the last 30 days to generate over $130,000 in sales on this new branded dropshipping business. And the purpose of this video is to walk you through the process step by step of how I use AI to write the entire landing page. And then I'm going to show you how I build the landing page inside of Shopify using my favorite landing page builder. And then at the end of this video, if you hang around long enough, I'm literally going to give you the template for the landing page that you can import into your store using the landing page builder that I use. So that way you can save dozens of hours and you can literally just copy paste my format, my winning template. And all you need to do is replace the information that I have in the template with your information, obviously, so it fits your product. So without wasting any time, let's go ahead and jump into the video right after we do a quick refresh check to let you know these results are legit. And yep, let's do it. So to anyone that's new to dropshipping, let's spend 10 seconds describing what an advertorial is. So most people, when they do dropshipping, they're going to do an ad, right? They're going to run Facebook ads, okay? And they're going to send the ad. Usually when they put the URL for their Facebook ad, they're going to send it or send the traffic straight to what we call a PDP, product detail page or product page, right? So this is what 99% of dropshippers do. They create ads, they send it to a product page. All we're doing when we say we're creating an advertorial is we're creating a landing page that will come in between the ad and the product page. So instead of our final URL, fix this. So we're just going to call this ADV for short. So now what you're going to do is instead of sending your traffic to the PDP, we're going to, after we create this advertorial, it's going to give you a URL and you're going to send all of your Facebook ads to this URL. So now instead of going to the PDP, people are going to go into your advertorial, and then your advertorial is what will link to the PDP. Okay. And that's all it is. So it's just a type of landing page that comes before a product page. And the purpose of the advertorial is to be able to sell the product and do a little bit more selling before someone actually reaches the opportunity to buy the product. Imagine it if every time you walked into a car dealership, as soon as you walk in, the first sales rep comes up to you and says, "Hey, this car is $60,000. Do you want to buy it?" That's not what they do because they know it's not effective. What do? They tell you, "Oh, hey, are you looking, what kind of car are you looking for? Are you looking to trade in? Do you want to go pre-owned? Do you prefer something that's fast? What are you feeling?" They try to sell you a little bit. And that's basically what the advertorial landing page does. It's a way for us to engage with our audience and persuade them and sell them to buy the product in a way that doesn't feel, number one, super salesy, and number two, allows them to get more familiar with the product and its benefits and what it does and how it can benefit their life before they get the opportunity to buy. So that way, when they do go to the product page, they are primed to convert. So here's a good example of an advertorial. This is one of my favorite advertorials of all time, which is why I have it bookmarked. I recommend that you bookmark this as well. This is by a brand called Olavita, and these guys are pretty much writing the blueprint on how to write good advertorials. And so as you can see, essentially what this is a landing page where if you send the traffic here, there's no mention about a product anywhere, right? It's just crazy attention grabbing headline: a facelift without surgery, swelling or downtime, even her doctor was shocked. And then they go through this little section here describing and introducing the product, and they do a 5 reasons why. All the meanwhile, you actually don't get any call to action to actually go buy the product until you get down to the bottom, right? And then you get the buy 2 get 1 free. So it's like after you've read all of this information, now they hit you with an offer. So this is essentially what we're going to be building inside of Facebook ads. So now let's get into the building with AI section. All right, now really quick before we dive into the actual building, it's really important that if you are going to start testing advertorials, that you first validate the messaging inside of your ad account. So I see a lot of beginners make this mistake, and I used to make this mistake because I didn't know any better. And doing the process this way instead of the old way is going to yield you significantly stronger results and make you a lot more money with advertorials. So what most beginners do is they watch videos like these or by other creators, and they hear, "Oh shit, okay, advertorials are just, I gotta write an advertorial." And they'll just go and write the advertorial, right? They'll go do some research, maybe do some AI research, and then they'll go construct the advertorial right away. What you actually want to do is you want to validate what you're going to say on the advertorial, or you want to test what you're going to say on the advertorial here on the ad level, right? Because if you think about it, the ads that you run, not only are you trying to generate purchases, but the ads that you run are going to reach the people in your audience that you want to sell to. So if we can put the messaging that we're going to put on the advertorial in front of those people, and we put different forms of that messaging and we see what works best, that will significantly improve our hit rate or success rate with an advertorial, because we're testing that messaging first before we build out a fully dedicated landing page for it. So what you want to do is you want to go into your ad account, and I'll do a separate video on this, but essentially you want to be testing for different types of messaging within your ad account. So you want to test for different desires typically, and then you want to test for different angles. And once you have a desire and angle that works and is producing profitable, let's say this angle, for example, let's say 0822 batch 4 solutionware test. Let's say I know the exact desired angle that's in here. This, as you can see, it's producing a really solid result. And so let's say this is the ad set and I know what desire is working here. Let's say it's desire to get rid of knee pain, or let's say it's a weight loss product and it's the desire to shave 2 inches off my waistline. Then I'm going to take that desire and build that into an advertorial. Okay. So ideally, if you can, validate the messaging in your ad account first. Now let's actually build the advertorial. So linked in the description of this video is going to be a series of prompts for that I use for AI. And what you want to do is go down all the way to prompt number 9. Okay. So prompt number 9 is where you want to start or follow along if you're watching this video and following along. And I have 2 types of advertorials, and both of them are going to work depending on your niche and your audience. So I can tell you right now, if you're selling to an older demographic, older demographics love the Nightmare Personal Story advertorial. Okay. Any older demographic, it could be in the pets niche, it could be in pain relief. Every time I'm writing to anyone who's 45 to 65 plus, I go Nightmare Personal Story. And in my opinion, Nightmare Personal Story is where you should start. This is essentially a form of advertorial that, exactly as the name suggests, is written from the perspective of someone in your audience who had a really either scary situation or just a really a very problematic situation, and they come away, and they get through it through your product. Next, we have the authority figure based advertorial. Now, this I would recommend, particularly if you know your niche is highly either sophisticated or saturated, whichever term you want to use. But really saturated niches benefit a lot from the authority figure based advertorial, because in a highly sophisticated or saturated niche, you have typically your audience, the product that you're selling to that audience, it's not something that they've never heard of, right? If you think about if it's a really saturated market, it means there's been a lot of exposure to that product. And so most people in saturated markets are more so comparing what is the best product rather than trying to discover a totally brand new product. And when you're trying to compare products, one of the most effective ways or most effective modes of persuasion in a highly sophisticated market is to have a credible authority figure back that particular product. This is why you see brands doing collaborations with influencers. This is why you see Abercrombie working with Sydney Sweeney. This is why if you are in supplements, right, some of the biggest supplement brands in the world have these huge endorsements with doctors and veterinarians and so on and so forth. If you look at this, If you look at this advertorial, you're going to see they are, leveraging as much authority in the form of these press mentions as possible. So the more sophisticated, I would say go with prompt number 10 or test this out, but most people should start with prompt number 9. Okay, so all we need to do now is open up Claude, which is going to be our copywriting tool of choice. You can do this in ChatGPT. I significantly recommend that you use Claude, although I am using ChatGPT more and more for ad copy. Claude, when it comes to writing advertorials, is going to blow any other LLM out of the water. So it's not even close. All we're going to do is copy paste this like this. So let's copy paste. Let's say we're going to write the personal story. Okay. Like this. you're an expert copywriter who creates compelling conversion-focused advertorial using a following framework. And we're going to put our angle here. Let's say we're selling a mouth taping brand. Let's say angle is, or we'll put like product. We'll put like mouth tape, and then we'll put the angle. This product helps you get a firmer jawline, or helps you get, we'll say better sleep, and we'll put target audience 20 to 45 women. Okay, so that's the well, this is more of a desire, so we'll put desire. I want to get better sleep. And the angle is essentially the story that we tell to make someone activate the desire. So let's say, I want to get better sleep, how I finally stopped snoring and got back in my bedroom with my husband. Okay? Just coming up with random stuff. Again, ideally, you know what your winning desire and angle is as you go in or testing in your ad account. And really quick, I just forgot, there are going to be some required reading materials for that you want to give to the AI. So I have 4 of them linked here. What you want to do is click on each of these, okay? And you want to download these and attach them as files into Claude, okay? Right, so now it's writing out the advertorial. And again, this is for a mouth tape product. And here is your headline. He moved to the guest room and I knew her marriage was in trouble. And it's going to follow a very simple problem, agitate, solution framework. If you want to, I would recommend you get really familiar with this framework because this is pretty much I would say the foundation for any high converting advertorial, but really any high converting piece of copy. Okay, so let's go back and it's going to finish generating. All right. Okay, so here it is. We've got 1,100 words, perfect. 5th grade reading level, perfect. We're using the RMDC method structure by Stefan Georgi, which is perfect. And so this thing is pretty much good to go. It's going to look a little bit short. The only thing that's not mentioned inside of Claude in this advertorial is that typically you're going to want to add an image underneath every subheadline just to break up the text, or after every paragraph before the next subheadline to break up the text. But honestly, when I first started testing advertorials, my firm opinion is that if the copy is good enough, it will convert without any images. So now let me show you how I build this inside of Shopify. Okay, so now I'm in Shopify. I'm using an app called Pagefly. And what Pagefly allows you to do is to, all right. So what Pagefly allows you to do, goddamn, let me zoom in some more. Okay. What Pagefly allows you to do, Jesus Christ. This is the landing page builder that I prefer. I think they're all pretty janky on Shopify. But the reason why I like Pagefly is because I just think it's the easiest, and they give you 1 free published page for free. So especially if you're just starting out, I think it's no contest. This is probably one of the most cost-effective ways to start testing advertorials. So what you can do is you can actually import a file, okay? And when I import this file, I will show you what that looks like. So as you can see, I have just imported just by doing this, import, and then it allows me to drag and drop a file. So I've inserted my pretty much template file that I use for every advertorial. Okay, this is an advertorial template for Pagefly specifically. And as you can see, this is like a former advertorial written for a brand called Blissy. And all I do is essentially just replace any and all information. Let's say I'm writing, I want to test this, right? And I'll go like this. That's a crazy headline, dude. And I'll literally just go line by line, and I'll replace this information. The only annoying thing with Pagefly is that it forces you to add these like line breaks, because if you copy paste text, it just does not work. And so let's say I want to get rid of this just because I don't need that. Let's get rid of this. Okay, let's go find an image. All right, so I found this hilarious fucking picture. Look at these guys. This guy's absolutely going through it, bro. He's absolutely gooning right now. All right, let's save this image. And let's go back. Okay, so let's replace this. Perfect. So hopefully now you're starting to get an idea for how simple this process is, but you basically just replace information as you get it, right? So I put my headline here, and I'm just going to repeat this process. I'm just going to go back and forth. If there's a subheadline, I do a subheadline. If there's a piece of text, I do a piece of text. Okay, it's really that simple. And then again, the only thing I change or would add to this process that is not shown here is pretty much after every subheadline or at the end of every piece of text, I'm going to add an image just to break up the text a little bit. And you'll see that as a pretty common pattern on most advertorials. There's going to be a lot of images to break up the text because images are more visual. Majority of the people that land on this page are going to be skimming through it like crazy. They're not going to read line by line. And so images can be a great way for you to communicate stuff with your audience and persuade them, even if they're skimming through and not reading the entire thing, start to finish. Okay, so that is pretty much the entire process that I follow. What's great with Pagefly is they actually have a really nice selection of templates. If you go to their main menu inside of Pagefly and you just press create, you can do create from template. And if you select regular, this is going to allow you to select from a variety of different templates. And from here, you can just type in advertorial. Okay, and boom, here is one that we can go ahead and start editing. So if we select that, this is the sort of default advertorial that you get with Pagefly. But what I love about their advertorials, they actually add this section here, like the more related posts. Like this stuff is awesome because I have yet to find a template that has that because it really looks like an advertorial or like an actual article. So as you can see, this is a really high converting advertorial from a brand called Clarifion, and they have these little advertisements here in the far right side. So it just really looks like an article. It looks like nothing like a brand page. And if you go back, the Pagefly template actually has that as well. So the only thing I would change to this is probably to change this section to black. There's really no point, and also move that up a little bit. There's really no point in having totally black section like that. And then I'd probably do another heading like right here. Okay. Then you basically go through that exact same process that we just went through. You replace the information with your information. And then when you get to the bottom, that is when you want to add some type of call to action. Okay. And what's great with Pagefly as well, last thing I'll say, is you can pretty much vibe code any section that you want. So if you go into and add a section, you can add in, if you type in custom, all right, let's type in HTML. So you can pretty much add in through HTML, you can add in, you could potentially vibe code the entire landing page. Like if you go into Claude or ChatGPT and say, write me an advertorial with this copy with a few images here, you can do the entire thing with ChatGPT. And then once that's done, you can basically save this, and then you are good to start testing it. Now, when it comes to how to test, and this is where we'll end off the video, when it comes to how to test your landing pages, I am starting to do less. I used to say one campaign per landing page, but I've actually moved away from that as of late. I just do one campaign now that has one landing page. And if I want to test new landing pages, I'm going to do it with this app called Elevate. And what Elevate allows me to do is to split my traffic 50-50 across two different pages without having to create two separate campaigns and then copy paste two separate sets of ads. So now I can just worry about adding in as many new ads as I want. And if I want to test a new landing page, I'm going to do it in an experiment inside of Elevate. So as you can see, I'm right now testing my control landing page versus a new type of landing page that I want to run. And this is where all the testing happens. So as you can see, my control right now, at least, is in the lead at a 1.37 compared to my variation 1, which is kind of shitting the bed at a 0.99. But this is how I'm testing landing pages. So if you're a little bit more advanced, or let's say you want to test your advertorial versus your product page, I would not recommend now that you create a separate campaign and test it with a new URL. I would just say, leave your current campaign on and use an app like Elevate or another app like IntelliGems, and they're available on the Shopify App Store. You just search them up, download them, and this is how I'm testing landing pages moving forward. So I'm no longer creating dedicated campaigns and doing that sort of thing. So guys, that is going to do it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed the content as always. And if you did, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. A lot of you guys have been leaving comments on the YouTube channel as well as reaching out to me on X, which by the way, if you're not following me on X, click click the link in the description to follow me there. But a lot of you guys were requesting an advertorial tutorial to show you guys exactly how I build my advertorials, how I write them, and then what apps I use and all the different stuff, the technical setup and all that good stuff. So if there's any content or any videos or any problems that you want to see me address in the next video, drop a comment, because I do read every single comment and I do use those to inform what videos I make next. So if you have a question, let me know in the comments so that way I can make a video on it for you and answer you in this really nice long format way and give you a super detailed response. That way you can take that information and scale your business to the next level. Otherwise, that is going to do it from me for this video. We are back on the grind for daily uploads. I think a week is probably the longest I've gone without uploading in all of 2025. So not to worry, we're back on the daily upload grind. So you can expect new videos every single day. And with that said, hope you guys enjoyed this as always. Any and all resources are linked in the description below. Have an amazing rest of the day, and I'll catch you in the next one. No more gooning. Take care. Peace.